Josie Duggar today. Pregnancy revealed. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar overjoyed. Duggar family exclusive story. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For Duggar family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. The shocking reveal, it's a quiet morning in Springdale, Arkansas. The sun spilling gently over the Duggar family home. For years, fans of 19 Kids and counting have watched this large, faith-based family grow, change, and face countless rumors. But today, one story stands out among them all. The youngest Duggar, Josie Brooklyn Duggar, who once captured America's hearts as the miracle baby born at just 25 weeks, is now making headlines again, for a reason that no one saw coming. Yes, Josie Duggar's pregnancy news has taken the internet by storm. Fans are in disbelief, the media is buzzing, and the Duggar parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle, are reportedly overwhelmed, but in the best possible way. From being the tiniest preemie in TLC history to becoming a young woman stepping into motherhood, Josie's journey is nothing short of miraculous. Josie's early life. The miracle baby. To truly understand the magnitude of this moment, we must go back in time to December 10th, 2009, the day Josie Brooklyn Duggar entered the world far too soon. Born weighing just 1 pound and 6 ounces, Josie's early days were filled with uncertainty. Doctors warned that her chances of survival were slim, but the Duggar family's faith never wavered. Michelle Duggar, then 43, had gone through preeclampsia and an emergency C-section. The family spent countless nights praying for Josie's recovery. Against all odds, she made it. The nation watched through tears as Josie fought through every challenge, tubes, surgeries, and months in the NICU. Jim Bob often called her our miracle baby, and Michelle said in one of her interviews, Josie reminds us every day that God answers prayers in ways we can't imagine. That faith-filled spirit shaped Josie's entire upbringing. Growing up surrounded by siblings, nieces, nephews, and cameras, she became a quiet but joyful presence in the Duggar household. Life after the cameras, when 19 Kids and Counting was canceled in 2015 and later Counting On ended in 2021, the Duggar kids slowly began stepping away from the public spotlight. Josie, especially, was kept away from the media for privacy. She attended homeschooling like her siblings, but also showed a creative and curious side, more drawn to music, art, and caring for others than to fame. Over time, fans would occasionally catch glimpses of her in family posts or Duggar gatherings shared online. She had grown into a young woman, often described by family friends as gentle, kind, and full of life. Then, suddenly, in mid-2025, whispers began to circulate. Josie had been spotted at a local Arkansas family event wearing a loose floral dress. Fans noticed something different aglow, a hand resting on her midsection, and a family atmosphere that hinted at something big. The rumors began within days. Online Duggar forums and fan accounts exploded with speculation: is Josie Duggar pregnant? Could the youngest Duggar be expecting? Initially, many dismissed it as internet gossip. Josie had always stayed private, far from the world of social media and controversy that her older siblings sometimes faced. But when Michelle Duggar posted a family photo a few weeks later with the caption "Our hearts are full, God is good all the time," and tagged #NewBeginnings, fans knew something was definitely happening. Within hours, the Duggar fan community was in full detective mode. People zoomed in on the photo, analyzing every detail. And sure enough, Josie's position, slightly turned, hand on belly, smiling softly, said it all. The official announcement. The confirmation came during a family gathering that the Duggars streamed live on their YouTube channel, Duggar Family Moments. Michelle, glowing with pride, took the microphone and said, "When I look back at how Josie came into this world, so small, so fragile, I'm reminded that every breath she takes is a miracle. And now, to see her preparing to become a mother herself, I can't help but cry tears of joy." Jim Bob, smiling widely, added, "God has truly blessed our family. We're so proud of Josie and the young woman she's become." And then came Josie, shy but radiant. She stepped forward holding her husband's hand. A young man named Eli Matthews, a longtime friend of the Duggar family from their church community. The two had quietly married earlier in the year in a small, private ceremony attended only by close family and friends. The Duggar parents had kept it private to protect Josie from the overwhelming media attention that has followed their family for decades. With a calm smile, Josie finally said yes, it's true. I'm expecting. We're so grateful and excited for this new chapter of our lives. The internet reacts. Almost instantly, Josie's name began trending on social media. Fans were emotional, with thousands commenting things like, I remember watching her as a baby. I can't believe she's having one now. This is full circle for the Duggars. Jim, Bob, and Michelle must be so proud. Even critics of the Duggar family, who've often questioned their strict religious rules, expressed heartfelt congratulations, noting how inspiring Josie's story has always been. Some called it a miracle within a miracle. The family's emotional reaction within the Duggar household, the excitement was contagious. Jana Duggar, Josie's oldest sister, reportedly helped organize the gender reveal party, designing decorations and a handmade cake. Jessa, Jinger, and Joanna each posted sweet messages, recalling memories of Josie as the tiny baby who beat the odds. Jessa wrote on her Instagram story, I still remember holding Josie in the hospital when she could fit in my hands. Seeing her become a mom, wow. Time truly flies. Even Josh Duggar's situation, which has long cast a shadow over the family, didn't stop them from uniting for this joyful news. Family sources say this pregnancy brought everyone together, if only for a brief, healing moment. Jim, Bob, and Michelle's reflection. Jim, Bob, and Michelle, who have long emphasized family, faith, and the sanctity of life, were especially moved. Michelle shared in a heartfelt post, Josie's life began with miracles, and it seems God is continuing that story. We are humbled to see his faithfulness unfold once again. Jim, Bob, in his classic fatherly tone, added raising 19 kids wasn't always easy, but moments like this remind us that every sacrifice was worth it. They also revealed that Josie's pregnancy announcement coincided with the anniversary of her NICU discharge, the day she officially came home after months of fighting for her life as a newborn. For them, it felt like divine timing. Who is Eli Matthews? So, who exactly is Eli Matthews? Josie Duggar's husband Eli is reportedly a 23-year-old carpenter from Arkansas, known for his quiet, hardworking nature. His family has been friends with the Duggars for over a decade. The two met during a church volunteer project in 2022, where they worked on building homes for families in need. Friends say their connection was immediate, founded on shared faith, kindness, and humility. They kept their relationship private, with only close family aware. Jim, Bob, and Michelle reportedly approved of Eli early on, describing him as a young man of faith and strong character. By 2024, Eli proposed to Josie in a simple but heartfelt ceremony near the Duggar family garden, the same place where Josie had celebrated her first birthday years ago. Their wedding, kept secret from the media, took place in early 2025. The Duggar legacy continues. Josie's pregnancy marks the beginning of a new generation of Duggars, one that carries both the blessings and challenges of a famous last name, unlike some of her older siblings who have stepped away from the family's conservative roots. Josie reportedly maintains many of the core values instilled by her parents: modesty, faith, and service. However, sources close to the family note that Josie also has a gentle independence. She's not planning to appear on any TLC shows or documentaries. Instead, she and Eli are said to be focusing on a quiet, faith-centered life in Northwest Arkansas. They've already set up a modest home on the outskirts of town, surrounded by fields and forest, a perfect place for a peaceful start to family life. Fans reflect on the circle of life. The emotional weight of Josie's story isn't lost on the fans who have followed her journey for over a decade. From a fragile premature baby who wasn't expected to survive to a glowing young woman preparing to bring her own child into the world, it's a story that feels almost cinematic. Many longtime followers expressed how they feel like they grew up with her. One fan wrote, I remember the episode where Michelle cried holding Josie's tiny body. Now Josie's going to hold her own baby. It's surreal. Another said, say what you will about the Duggars, but Josie's story gives me hope. Life can truly come full circle. Private joy amid public scrutiny. Still, not everything has been smooth. The Duggar family remains under a microscope due to past scandals and the lingering public perception after Josh Duggar's conviction. But Josie's news, many believe, is helping shift that narrative at least temporarily. Some online commentators suggest that this could be the beginning of a new chapter for the Duggars, one focused less on fame and more on redemption and grace. The younger Duggar siblings like Johanna, Jennifer, and Jordan Grace have also reportedly stepped into adulthood with more privacy and balance, learning from both the successes and the mistakes of their older brothers and sisters. Josie's pregnancy, in that sense, symbolizes hope, not just for the family, but for fans who believe in second chances. Behind the scenes, how the family is preparing as Josie moves into her second trimester. Sources say Michelle has already begun helping her prepare for motherhood the old-fashioned Duggar way, with faith, food, and family support. They've reportedly transformed part of the Duggar home into a baby preparation room filled with cribs, blankets, and hand-me-down baby clothes from dozens of nieces and nephews. Even the Duggar boys, once roughhousing brothers, are now doting uncles helping set up furniture and repaint rooms. Jim Bob was seen joking during a family vlog, "I can't believe I'm about to be a grandpa again. I've lost count." Fans estimate that with Josie's pregnancy, the Duggars now have nearly 30 grandchildren, a number that continues to grow every year. Josie's message to fans in a rare moment of openness. Josie recently shared a message with fans during a short video clip posted on her family's YouTube channel. "I know people have watched my story since before I could even speak. I'm grateful for every prayer and every message of love over the years. This next chapter, becoming a mom, feels like another miracle God is writing in my life. I don't know what the future holds, but I trust Him." The clip has already been viewed over 2 million times, with thousands of comments celebrating her journey. The meaning of it all, Josie's story, is more than just celebrity family news. It's a tale about resilience, faith, and growth in a world where fame often leads to chaos. Josie's quiet maturity stands out. Her pregnancy announcement wasn't a publicity stunt. It was a heartfelt family moment shared with grace and gratitude. Michelle Duggar once said, "Every life has purpose, no matter how small." And now, as Josie prepares to bring her own baby into the world, that quote feels more meaningful than ever. From the NICU to motherhood, it's a full-circle moment, filled with tears, joy, and divine symmetry. The future awaits as fans eagerly await updates like the baby's gender, name, and due date. One thing is certain: the Duggar story continues. Whether or not TLC or another network ever revives the family's reality TV days, people remain fascinated by their evolution, from fame to faith, from controversy to quiet contentment. And at the center of it all, Josie Duggar reminds us of one simple truth: life's greatest miracles often begin in the smallest of ways. A miracle reborn as night falls over the Duggar family home. Jim Bob and Michelle sit on their porch swing, watching the stars. Inside, laughter echoes, kids playing, family talking, love overflowing. Michelle turns to her husband and whispers, "Can you believe our baby is having a baby?" Jim Bob smiles, holding her hand. "I can. Because we've seen miracles before, and we're seeing one again." Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vuolo. A marriage in shadows. Jinger Duggar had always been known as the free-spirited daughter of the Duggar family. Growing up under the watchful eyes of Jim Bob and Michelle, her life had always been carefully controlled, every decision scrutinized, every step planned. But when she met Jeremy Vuolo, she saw a chance to breathe, to live a life on her own terms. Their courtship had been idealized. The shy smiles, heartfelt conversations, shared faith, and dreams of a family together. For Jinger, Jeremy represented love, understanding, and the promise of escape from the rigid walls of her upbringing. She married him with hope sparkling in her eyes, believing she had found a partner who would cherish her for exactly who she was. In the early years of their marriage, life seemed idyllic. They moved to Los Angeles, a world away from Arkansas, raising their 2 daughters in a home filled with laughter, faith, and the little joys of ordinary family life. Jeremy's ministry work grew, and Jinger pursued her passions, writing and speaking about her experiences. But somewhere along the way, the harmony began to crack. At first, it was subtle. Jeremy spent long hours at work, often missing family dinners. Duggar, committed to her children and her own projects, tried to understand. She reminded herself that this was the man she loved, the one who promised to stand by her side through every challenge. But the distance grew. Duggar began to feel an emptiness she could not explain. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly now stumbled into awkward silences. She tried to speak to Jeremy about her feelings, her fears, the weight of her isolation, but his responses were often brief, distracted, or deferred. "I'll listen tomorrow," he would say, and tomorrow never came. The Duggar family watched from afar. While they respected Duggar and Jeremy's decision to move to California, they were not blind to the cracks. Jim Bob called occasionally, offering advice in his own well-meaning but sometimes overbearing way. Michelle would send messages of concern, encouraging Duggar to pray and seek God's guidance. Jill, Jessa, and Jana reached out with empathy, sensing their sister's growing sorrow, but Duggar often masked the depth of her pain. Inside their home, the tension escalated. Duggar's heart ached with loneliness, even when surrounded by her daughter's laughter. Jeremy's passion for his ministry had become a barrier between them. He was physically present, but emotionally distant, consumed by the expectations of others, the public persona of a pastor, leaving little room for vulnerability. One evening, after another day filled with unspoken words and subtle disappointments, Duggar found herself sitting alone in the living room, her youngest asleep upstairs. Tears fell silently as she whispered into the empty room, "I just wanted us. I just wanted love." The silence of the house mirrored the silence in their marriage, a silence that had grown louder than any argument could ever be. As months turned into years, the weight of unmet expectations and unresolved conflict began to erode the foundation of their relationship. Simple disagreements became painful confrontations. The love they had once celebrated seemed to fade into a series of compromises and unspoken resentments. Duggar found herself longing for emotional intimacy, for a partner who could see her heart, not just her role as a wife or mother. The Duggar family's occasional visits could not bridge the gap. Each time they left, Duggar felt the void even more acutely. She began journaling, trying to capture her feelings on paper: pain, confusion, longing, and a grief she could not voice aloud. Jeremy, too, struggled, but his struggle was wrapped in silence, pride, and the weight of expectation. He loved Duggar, but he could not break the barriers that his ambition and preoccupations had built. The breaking point came quietly, almost imperceptibly. A misunderstanding escalated into a series of nights spent in separate rooms, conversations reduced to logistics about children and schedules, intimacy fading into memory. Duggar's heart, once full of hope, now carried a persistent ache. She prayed, sought counsel, and tried everything within her power to reconnect, but the emotional distance had become a chasm. Friends and close family began to notice the change. Jill and Jessa called late at night, gently probing, offering support. Michelle sent encouraging messages, reminding Duggar of her strength and resilience. Yet, no external reassurance could heal the internal fracture. The life Duggar had dreamed of, the loving partnership with Jeremy, was now overshadowed by longing and quiet sorrow. In moments of solitude, Duggar reflected on her childhood, the years spent under strict rules and rigid expectations. She realized that, even now, patterns of control and unmet emotional needs had subtly shaped her marriage. Her desire for independence clashed with Jeremy's sense of duty and ambition, creating a persistent friction that neither could fully resolve. Jeremy noticed too, of course. There were moments of guilt, fleeting awareness that the woman he loved was suffering silently beside him. He tried small gestures, a planned date, a heartfelt note, a shared prayer, but the cracks had deepened beyond repair. Both loved each other, yet love alone could not overcome the distance that time, circumstance, and unmet expectations had created. The culmination of years of quiet heartache arrived on an ordinary Sunday morning. After a particularly tense week of misunderstandings, miscommunications, and emotional exhaustion, Jinger realized that the marriage she had once believed in could no longer sustain her heart. Tears streaming, she told Jeremy with trembling voice, I need us to be honest. I cannot keep living in this silence." Jeremy, equally emotional, struggled for words. He loved her. Always had, but the truth was undeniable. Their paths, though once intertwined with hope and promise, had diverged. The realization was devastating. They were committed to each other out of love, yet incapable of bridging the emotional distance that had grown insurmountable. Over the next weeks, they navigated the painful process of redefining their relationship. Counseling sessions, heartfelt conversations, and family support helped them come to terms with reality. They continued to co-parent their children with care and love, but the dream of the marriage they had envisioned was gone. The Duggar family, while saddened, respected their honesty and offered unwavering support. Jinger's heartache was profound, yet it also carried lessons in resilience, self-awareness, and the complexity of love. She understood now that sometimes love is not enough to mend what life's circumstances have strained. Jeremy, too, faced the painful truth that devotion alone cannot overcome distance, unspoken needs, and the demands of life. Years later, Jinger would look back at this period with a mixture of sorrow and gratitude. Sorrow for the loss of the marriage she had once dreamed of, and gratitude for the children, family, and experiences that had shaped her into a stronger, wiser woman. The Duggar family, ever present, continued to provide love and support, reminding her that even in heartbreak, family remained a steadfast refuge.